Dear students, welcome back. Now we are going to discuss about the accessory joint structure, that is articular disc, which is present in the temporomandibular joint. And the main function of this articular disc is, as we know that the articular surfaces of this temporomandibular joint or both are in convex surfaces. That means this joint is more incongruent joint. To maintain the congruence of this joint, a disc is present in between the two articular surfaces, and this disc divides this joint into superior temporomandibular joint and inferior temporomandibular joint. This one is the superior temporomandibular joint and this is the inferior temporomandibular joint. So all these movements in superior temporomandibular joint and inferior temporomandibular joint on both sides work simultaneously in mandibular motions. Okay, and the inferior temporomandibular joint is formed by the mandibular condyle and the inferior surface of the articular disc. So the inferior temporomandibular joint is formed by the mandibular condyle as well as the inferior surface of the articular disc. So forms the inferior temporomandibular joint. So we know that this is the disc. Okay. Next, the superior temporomandibular joint is formed by the superior surface of the articular disc, and the articular eminence, forming the superior temporomandibular joint. The superior temporomandibular joint is larger than the inferior temporomandibular joint, and the superior temporomandibular joint is formed by the superior articulating surface of the articular disc as well as the articular eminence of the temporal bone. Okay, and this joint acts as a gliding joint, and the inferior temporomandibular joint acts as a hinge joint. So here the articular disc is a biconcave in shape. The articular disc is in biconcave in shape. So it is also called as, this temporomandibular joint is also called as bicondylar joint. So some physiologists have studied about this structure of articular disc. Under MRI, this appears as bow tie appearance. That means banam laga anamata. Okay, bow tie appearance. So here now we will see the thickness of the articular surface. Here the thickness is not same in all portions. The thickness of the disc is not same in all the portions. So this is the anterior portion, this is the middle portion, and this one is the posterior portion. The thickness of the articular disc varies from 2 millimeters anteriorly to 1 millimeter in the middle and to 3 millimeters posteriorly. So the purpose of the disc is to allow the convex surfaces of the articular eminence and the mandibular condyle to remain congruent throughout the range of motion of the temporomandibular joint in all planes. So this is the main function of the articular disc. And also the thickness is very much less at the middle. So, and these two portions are vascularized, and these two portions have nerve supply, but at the middle it doesn't have any vascular supply as well as nerve supply. And at this part only greater forces are acting at the middle portion than the anterior and the posterior portions. Okay, and the other functions of the articular disc are, it increases the stability. The articular disc increases the stability, and it also minimizes the loss of motion, loss of mobility or loss of motion. That means if suppose if you think that if articular disc is absent, that means, so here the mobility is only confined to some structures which are in contact. That means that articular eminence and the mandibular contact, that means only some part will contact here, which causes motion. So how much portion it will be contact, that much range of motion we can available at that joint. So that is not occurring here because of this articular disc. It minimizes the loss of mobility. That means it increases the surface area of the joint cavity, which increases the range of motion in the temporomandibular joint. Okay, and the disc also reduces friction and also decreases the biomechanical stress on the temporomandibular joint. Okay, so this is about the articular disc and its function. And now we will see what are the attachments of the articular disc. So this articular disc is not simply present inside the joint, but it has some attachments inside the joint cavity which maintains in position, and also during rest and also during movement it has to be present in between the two articular eminences to maintain the congruence of the temporomandibular joint. For such a function, the disc has to be stabilized. The disc has to be stabilized during rest as well as in mobility. So, for such kind of function it has to perform, so it is having some supporting attachments on the anterior side, posterior side, medial and lateral side. It has some attachments. Now we are going to see those attachments on the articular disc in the temporomandibular joint. So the disc within the temporomandibular joint has a complex set of attachments. The disc is firmly attached to the medial and lateral poles. So this pic is in a cross-sectional area. So we are having, we know that this mandible is having lateral and mandibular condyle is having lateral and medial condyles, poles, isn't it? So this disc is firmly attached to the lateral and medial poles, but there is no anterior attachment on the mandibular condyle. Keep it in mind. So there is no anterior attachment. So the disc is attached only on the lateral and the medial side. So it is getting some support on the medial and lateral side, but it is not attached to the joint capsule medially or laterally. That means, so every joint, synovial joint is covered by a joint capsule. Here you can see the joint capsule. Normally it is covered like this. The joint capsule will be covered like this, and the disc is placed inside. So this is the joint capsule. So that means it is covering at all the sides, isn't it? So but the capsule, though it is attaching to the medial and lateral poles of the mandibular condyle, it is not attaching with that of the joint capsule on the medial and lateral sides. Okay, now on the anterior side, so because of these attachments, because of this medial and lateral pole attachment, this articular disc can rotate freely. The articular disc can rotate freely in antero-posterior direction. So antero-posterior direction, it can rotate freely because of attachments on the medial and lateral pole, on the lateral pole. Okay, so now the disc is attached to the joint capsule anteriorly. So medially, laterally it is not attached to the capsule, but anteriorly, anterior disc is attached to the joint capsule, and also tendon of the superior lateral pterygoid muscle. So what are the anterior attachments to the articular disc? One is the joint capsule, which is present on the anterior aspect, as well as the superior lateral pterygoid muscle. Okay, this is this is about the anterior attachments of the articular disc. Now coming to the posterior aspect. So before going to the posterior aspect, what is the function of this anterior attachment? So this anterior attachment resist the posterior translation of the disc. That means, so if it is translating more, no, you can't go back. So this one is restricting. అంటే వెనక ఎక్కువ మూవ్ అవ్వకుండా this anterior attachments are restricting the posterior translation of the disc. Okay, that is the function of anterior attachments of the articular disc. What is the function of medial and lateral attachments of the disc? Which helps to rotate the articular disc freely in antero-posterior directions. Okay, now coming to the posterior attachments. Posteriorly, the disc is attached to a complex structure. Posteriorly, the disc is attached to a complex structure called the bilaminar retrodiscal pad. What do you call? Bilaminar retrodiscal pad. So this bilaminar retrodiscal pad is having two laminas. That means two divisions it is having. One is the superior lamina and another one is the inferior lamina. Okay, so the superior lamina is attached to the posterior aspect of the articular disc and is attached to the tympanic plate. This one is the tympanic plate here, tympanic plate. So it is present at the posterior mandibular fossa. It is present at the posterior mandibular fossa. Okay, actually here this joint capsule is present, which is present inside. So we know that this is the posterior mandibular fossa. Inside you will have this tympanic plate. Okay, so the superior lamina of the bilaminar retrodiscal pad is attached posteriorly to the tympanic plate, which is present at the posterior mandibular fossa. So this superior lamina consists of elastic fibers that allow the superior band to stretch. So that means because of this elastic fibers, so when this disc is moving anteriorly, the disc is moving anteriorly, it is going to stretch. It is going to stretch. So this thing is happened during opening of mouth. So this thing is happening during opening of the mouth. So what is the function of the superior lamina? The superior lamina allows the disc to translate anteriorly along the articular eminence during mandibular depression is nothing but opening of mouth, and during that time these fibers are going to stretch, and because of its elastic properties again it come back and reposition the disc into its normal position, and it is going to reposition the articular disc during mandibular elevation, that is nothing but closing of mouth. Now coming to the inferior lamina, what is the function we will see. Now we will see the attachment. The inferior lamina is attached to the neck of the mandible. It is attached to the neck of the mandibular condyle, which is inelastic, and this inferior lamina acts as a tether. Tether means if you want something, we can use a rope or like that to stop that one. Normally in Telugu it is called as paggam. Okay, so for a dog and all, we can use a thread around its neck, and we are controlling with that rope or chain not to go unnecessarily on other side like that. So it acts as a tether. So the inferior lamina acts as a tether on the disc, and it limits the forward translation, and this one limits the forward translation. But this inferior lamina does not, the the inferior lamina does not assist in repositioning of the articular disc, okay, during mandibular closing, that means closing of mouth. So during opening of mouth, what is happening? So the superior lamina is having elastic fibers. It is going to stretch and causes anterior translation during the articulation over the articular eminence, along the articular eminence, but it should not increase its normal limit. That one is controlled by this tether. So after maximum opening of the mouth, this tether will stop enough. So then what will happen? So again backward gliding of the articular disc happens because of the elastic properties of the superior lamina, but it does not assist, the inferior lamina does not assist in repositioning of the mandible articular disc during closing of the mouth. These are the functions of the bilaminar retrodiscal pad, and in between these two laminae the space is filled with loose areolar connective tissue, which is rich in arterial and neural supply. Okay. And coming to the composition of this articular disc, so this disc primarily consists of collagen and GAGs, that is glycosaminoglycans and elastin. Collagen is largely responsible for maintaining the shape of the disc, that is biconcave shape, and elastin contributes the disc's ability to regain its normal position unloading after unloading. And GAG's composition maintains, that means glycosaminoglycans maintains the disc resilience, that means the toughness of the disc is maintained by the GAGs, and this GAGs also helps in resisting the mechanical compressive force. Okay, so this is about the articular disc. This is about the articular disc composition. Okay, as I have told that the anterior and posterior segments of the disc are vascularized and innervated. The central segment of the disc is avascular, and also no nerve supply is present here, and the lack of vascularity and innervation is helpful for the disc to accept more force. Okay, and the capsule and the lateral temporomandibular ligament and retrodiscal tissues contain mechanoreceptors and nociceptors, which are responsible for proprioception and pain sensation. That means, so at the middle part, it is the only segment which is accepting the more force, and if the force increases also at that point, we will not get any pain here. Okay, and also the vascularity is also not present. For this segment, the nutrition is supplied by the adjacent segments. Okay, and the remaining two parts having greater vascular supply as well as innervation, and because of the presence of this capsule, and the capsule is having mechanoreceptors and nociceptors. Not only in the capsule, they are also present in the temporomandibular ligaments and also retrodiscal pads, which are responsible for proprioception, that means the joint sensation as well as the pain. Nociceptors means pain sensation. Mechanoreceptors helps in proprioceptions. So these are the features of the articular disc, where it is present, and the measurements of the articular disc and shape of the articular disc, and the functions of the articular disc, and the attachments of the articular disc inside the joint. Because of these attachments, each attachment is having an individual function which helps in the maintenance of the disc in position throughout the mandibular motions. Okay, this is about the articular disc which is present in the temporomandibular joint. In the next session, we are going to see the capsule and the ligaments around the temporomandibular joint. Thank you.